New policies for applying for asylum in the U.S. are now in effect as tens of thousands of migrants wait for their chance.
San Ysidro near San Diego is one of the places with a huge number of migrants waiting. KCAL News reporter Michele Gile joins us live now with more on the situation just outside the border wall. Michele.
There is a lot going on, you guys, this morning. I'm about 200 feet from the U.S.-Mexico border. This wall you see here is part of the enforcement zone. And we're going to bring you live pictures because this is a big part of the day. The Border Patrol trucks have rolled onto the field behind the wall here, which is American soil. And what they have begun doing is asking the migrants to show their wristbands. And those with the color of the day, and today it happens to be yellow, those who've been here the longest will be taken by agents to be processed. Yesterday, we saw a few dozen migrants going with the officers, and I have to tell you, it's a pretty poignant time because the crowd erupts into applause when certain people are called up. Now, the other issue this morning, as I'm sure it is every day here at the border, is food. These migrants are hungry. Parents have been walking up to the wall here asking for food for their children. There is a system, and if there isn't enough food delivered here by the volunteers, it won't be handed out until there is enough for everyone.
I'm just cold. I'm just dying to leave from outside.
It was a cold night in the field where migrants hoping for asylum in the United States are staging as they wait to be processed by Border Patrol. This man is from Honduras.
He says that it was a very hard night, very cold. They're suffering hunger. They're suffering against the weather. And he says that there's urine and feces everywhere. They've been trying to clean it up themselves, but it's been very tough.
There are tables set up outside of the steel border wall with boxes of fruit, medical supplies, diapers, and other supplies. Volunteers who are concerned about the health of the migrants have been showing up to help distribute food and water. Some of the asylum seekers have been here for a week.
In his welding shop he actually owned, he was being extorted, and he originally was paying $2,000 a month. Last month he was notifying by the Mara Salvatrucha, which is the gang that controls the area, that he was going to be expected to pay double. And he says with the extortion, he just can't run a business. This is one of the reasons he left.
The pile of trash is getting bigger in the field. A woman from Afghanistan with her 2 young children explained that her family, including her disabled father-in-law, crossed a river in Mexico and arrived at this spot Wednesday.
And he cannot walk. He is in the wheelchair. And when we come the border and the water.
He's in the hospital?
Yes, yes. And the water, he was very cold. And then we call to the police and take them ambulance. Now he is in the ICU.
Back live now, looking at all of the migrants here in the field as Border Patrol continues to call up certain people, again, wearing the yellow wristbands, which denote that they have been in this field the longest. That process is continuing now this morning. I'm going to have my photographer, Tim Kimball, pull out here and just show you. This is some of that food that I was referencing that's been delivered. Not enough, certainly, for 400 people. In these boxes are oranges and some applesauce, and certainly that will be handed out. I'm told that a big delivery of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches is coming at 10 a.m. That's what happened yesterday. And again, all of this is provided by volunteers who are taking it upon themselves to bring this here and to help feed the migrants. One of the people with the human rights organization that comes and helps the migrants, speaking to them through the slats in the wall, said that typically the Border Patrol will give them water and a granola bar, maybe one in the morning and one in the evening. So, of course, the volunteers want to backfill that. I do want to address a couple of other things. the way the system works, I talked about the fact that when there's not enough food here, they don't hand it out because they don't want to cause problems inside where the migrants are. There are captains who are assigned. Each of them speak their own language, and they will keep track of their group, say of the people from Jamaica or from Colombia or from Turkey, and they will distribute the food so there isn't a mad crush here at the wall. Another thing that is really important that showed up today is a charging station. This is a cell phone charging station. It's a box where the volunteers are able to plug in people's cell phones. The migrants have phones with cables, and they, of course, want to be up to date on the news and access the app so they can make appointments with the United States government. And without cell phone power, they certainly can't do that. And before we go, I just want to share something that I saw just a few minutes ago as some of these migrants were being pulled out of the crowd and taken away by the Border Patrol. One of the men who was lined up had a big fluffy blanket in his arms, and as you can see, it's cloudy and cold here today, and certainly much colder overnight. He started to walk away with the Border Patrol agents and then looked down at this big, heavy, warm blanket and realized, I may not need this tonight, but these people here will. He walked back and he tossed that blanket to a few people sitting here who will no doubt spend another night out in the cold this evening. So that's the very latest at the U.S.-Mexico border, and we'll be reporting all morning, telling you what's going on here, and we'll be waiting for those PB&Js to show up at 10 a.m. Back to you guys.
Michelle, thank you. Your reporting's given us such a sense of the desperation there as those people wait, and also just the sheer numbers of them. Thank you so much for your reporting.
Yeah, great perspective.